Have you ever noticed that you seem to keep dating the exact same person? Different faces, different names, but the same exhausting ending. You either feel completely suffocated the moment someone gets close, or you feel a soul-crushing anxiety the second they pull away. Most dating gurus will tell you it's a matter of finding the right one or fixing your personality. They are wrong. This isn't a personality flaw, it's a biological script. Your brain was wired for intimacy before you even knew how to walk. And if you don't understand the physical circuitry of your attachment style, you aren't choosing your partners, your nervous system is choosing them for you. Today, we are going deeper than standard psychology. We are looking at the neurobiology of love. We're going to explore how your early childhood environment physically shaped your amygdala and your prefrontal cortex, creating the attachment blueprint you carry today. By the end of this video, you will understand the 3 primary neuro blueprints of attachment and how to identify yours. You'll see why the anxious avoidant trap is a literal biological feedback loop that you can't simply think your way out of. And most importantly, we will cover the science-backed method of neuroplasticity to rewire your brain for secure, lasting love. If you've ever felt like your relationships are a glitch you can't fix, this is the manual you were never given. This is why we wire. To understand your wiring, we have to go back to the beginning. For a human infant, attachment is not a luxury, it is a biological survival mechanism. Unlike many mammals that can walk within hours of birth, humans are born completely helpless. If we are not attached to a caregiver, we die. Because of this, the human brain evolved what scientists call the attachment behavioral system. Think of it as a biological thermostat in your brain, specifically within the limbic system, that constantly monitors the emotional distance between you and your safe person. When that person is close, the thermostat is balanced. You feel calm. Your brain releases oxytocin and dopamine, the chemicals of reward and safety. But when that person becomes distant, physically or emotionally, the thermostat hits a panic button. This triggers the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Your brain floods your body with cortisol and norepinephrine. This is the physical ache you feel in your chest during a breakup or even a minor argument. It is your brain treating emotional distance as a life-threatening emergency. Your wiring doesn't know you're just having a spat. It thinks you've been abandoned in the wild. Not all thermostats are calibrated the same way. Based on how your caregivers responded to you in your first 1,000 days, your brain adopted one of 3 primary blueprints. The first is the secure connection. If your caregivers were consistent and responsive, your brain wired a high threshold for stress. You view intimacy as a source of safety, not a threat. In the brain, this is characterized by strong connectivity between the prefrontal cortex, your logic center, and the amygdala, your fear center. When a partner pulls away, your logic center can effectively calm down your fear center. You have emotional brakes that work. The second is the anxious, preoccupied wire. This often happens when care was inconsistent. One day the parent was there, the next they were distant. This wires the amygdala to be hypervigilant. You become a master at reading micro-expressions. You notice the slightest change in a text message's tone because your brain is perpetually looking for threats to the connection. Your thermostat is set to go off at the slightest breeze. Your brakes are weak and your gas pedal for panic is stuck to the floor. You aren't being dramatic. Your brain is genuinely convinced that the lack of a reply means the bond is broken. The third is the dismissive avoidant wire. If a caregiver was consistently cold, intrusive, or rejected your needs, the brain learned that closeness is dangerous. To survive, your brain deactivated the attachment system. You didn't stop needing love, you just wired a wall around the amygdala to ignore the signals. In MRI studies, avoidant individuals often show high stress levels internally, but their prefrontal cortex has learned to completely suppress those feelings, leading to the numbness or need for space they feel during conflict. Closeness feels like an invasion of your boundaries, and your primary survival strategy is independence. Here is the tragedy of biological wiring. The anxious and the avoidant are almost always drawn to each other. This isn't a mistake, it's a familiarity trap. When the anxious person feels a threat, they protest. They call more, they text more, they demand more intimacy to reset the thermostat. However, this protest behavior is a direct threat to the avoidant person's wiring. Their brain senses an intrusion and triggers a deactivation strategy. They pull away, they stop answering, they go silent to protect themselves from the perceived attack. This silence causes the anxious person's cortisol levels to skyrocket, leading to even more desperate protest. This is a literal feedback loop. It's not that you don't love each other, it's that your nervous systems are speaking two different languages of survival. One is trying to survive through closeness, the other through autonomy. Each person's attempt to feel safe makes the other person feel more threatened. It is a cycle that consumes relationships from the inside out. So, can you change your wiring? The answer is yes. It's called neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a static organ, it's a muscle that can be reshaped. The first step is the name it to tame it protocol. The next time you feel that urge to send 10 texts or to disappear for 3 days, you must stop and label it. Say out loud, "This is my amygdala firing." By labeling the emotion, you engage the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex. This region has a direct inhibitory effect on the fear center. You are literally cooling down the thermostat with your logic center. It shifts the experience from being an overwhelming wave to being a biological event you can observe. The second step is earned security through co-regulation. Studies show that people can move from insecure to earned secure by forming co-regulating relationships. By consistently experiencing a safe connection, whether with a therapist, a mentor, or a stable partner, your brain begins to prune the old fear-based neural pathways and grow new ones based on trust. It takes time, but the brain eventually learns that intimacy does not equal danger. The third step is breaking the protest loop. If you are anxious, practice self-soothed relational behavior. This means waiting 15 minutes before replying to a trigger. You are training your brain that you can survive the spike in cortisol without immediate reassurance. If you are avoidant, practice lean-in transparency. Instead of running, say, "I'm feeling overwhelmed and need 20 minutes of space, but I will be back." This simple sentence prevents the other person's panic button from being pressed. It provides the security the anxious brain needs while giving the avoidant brain the space it requires. Understanding your wiring is the first step towards genuine freedom. You are not broken, you are just adapted for an environment that you no longer live in. You are a survivor of your own history, and those adaptations served you when you were small. But now they're getting in the way of the connection you deserve. Real growth comes from doing the right things with deep intensity and understanding the mechanics of your own mind. If this deep dive into your neural wiring helped you understand yourself or your partner better, consider subscribing to Why We Wire. We don't just look at the behavior, we look at the machinery behind it. We believe that once you understand the why, the how becomes possible. For more on the psychology of human behavior and how to optimize your brain for success, check out our other videos. Remember, you aren't just what you think, you are how you're wired. Let's start the rewiring process together. Thank you for watching.